I want to get your thoughts, Dr. Ozbolt, on like what intervening looks like, how to approach someone. Like I'm sure that there are many tiers, like an approach of concern or a gesture of concern versus like an actual intervention. And if you could just talk to us about what kind of vocabulary and language should we have in any one of these scenarios, and what are the different like levels of approach look like, and how should they look?
Mhm. I think they're different in all the scenarios that you said. I'm going to start with the one that I have the most knowledge about, and that's like how you would approach your own children or a family member, because I think that's very different. I think the relationships that you have with your family, especially your children, in that you are not equal with your child. If this is happening to your daughter, you can actually do something about this. And that's why it has early intervention with parent support. This is very treatable. It's hard to treat, but it is treatable.
That's reassuring, Lauren. It's reassuring.
Mm-hmm. Now, it has a very poor prognosis and very low treatable rate if it's a friend that you need to talk to. The best prognosis is when you have an adolescent that is having the disorder. Why? Because the parents still run the household and they can make decisions for the child that they may not like, but they have to do because they're under 18.
Mm-hmm.
And that's really what makes the difference in treatment and prognosis. I wish if there was a lot of intervention techniques I could give you about your friend at the office or your daughter's friend or your daughter's mother. There's not a lot of great things I can say that are really going to be eye-opening to them because they are so rational in every other part of their life.
Right.
But so delusional in this one part. And what we know from psychiatry is, a delusion is a fixed false belief. You can't reason someone out of a delusion. And that's, again, another layer of complication with this. So if it's your own kid, you can say, okay, if we don't eat, our body doesn't have any fuel. You know what that means? You're not playing soccer. You're not doing your after school sports. You're not doing your extracurriculars. We're going to sit down and I'm going to watch you eat. And guess what? I'm going to have to come to school and you're going to have to eat with me in the parking lot until this gets fixed. You start putting other parameters in their life that they hate so that they conform to the eating and get more healthy because to avoid these other adverse consequences. That's your strongest end with treating. And you don't have that ability to do that with anyone else. And that's why you can see people walking down the street and it's not the first time that they've been told. I'm sure they've been told by their family or their friends or their fiance or their husband. As an adult, the only reason they get treatment is because usually somebody's going to leave them if they don't. Their family says, it's enough. You can't live here anymore. Or their husband says, I can't stay married to you if you don't get this. So
take care of yourself. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's adverse consequences in their life that makes people change. And that's why it's easier to do when they're younger and you're the parent.
So there's no sort of acknowledgement here, like this modern parenting business, like of, I hear you think you're fat, no. What do you say? I mean, none of that kind of lines up with any of the,
kind of all the touchy-feely things.
I'll sit in the dark with you.
People are telling us now about
so,
I see you losing weight and this must be
hard.
This must make
or easy.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
You won't get very far with that. And that's why it's also difficult to treat because of our culture of it is sometimes we don't empower parents to be parents. And there are times where you are the parent and you are not talking in fluffy language. Like this is a life or death thing. And you're stepping in and you're saying, I love you. And one day you will see my intervening in your life as a positive thing and a sign of love. I always tell my patients, I'm like, look, I'm not trying to get up in your business. Like, I'm not trying to take away your privileges or mess up your life. But there's something going on here that medically is very dangerous. And I have to address what the dangerous part is. And I would be a terrible doctor if I ignored this. So getting them early help and early intervention is helpful because there are things that I can say to people that you can't as a parent because, especially in adolescence, it's normal for them to start separating from you. It's normal for your opinion to be one of the opinions, but it may not be the only opinion and it may not be as strong as their peers' opinion. So take early intervention when you seeing it, you start seeing the weight loss. That's pretty obvious. You start seeing
you know when
skipping
something's off.
meals.
What else should parents look out for, Lauren, besides weight loss and seeing that they're not eating during family meals?
Yeah, weight loss is a key thing. That's almost always present with anorexia. You also start seeing them regress to very distressed behavior when they can't do their routines with food or diet. For instance, they are missing a family meal because they're going to, if they schedule a 5 o'clock exercise class every day. Well, 5 o'clock exercise class has the added benefit of you don't have to eat with your family at that time.
Mm-hmm.
So, and if you say, no, you can't go to the 5 o'clock exercise class, and their reaction is crying, screaming, anger, things are very out of character. When you start talking about the eating, that's a warning sign.
Okay.
Also, if your child decides, hey, I'm going to be gluten-free, I'm going to be vegan, I am, not saying that there's anything in itself wrong with these, but if it's not coming from a clear belief, let's start with just being vegan. If it's not coming from a clear belief that this has always been something that has been important to them and it's out of the blue, it's a warning sign. Because in our culture, being gluten-free, vegan, are all avoiding carbs are all ways that are socially acceptable to restrict. Not saying that everybody that's gluten-free is restricting, but
right. Sure.
Something for a parent to see this in their adolescent, it should be a radar.
Yeah.